Yes, sir.
Ohm's law only. Now we slowly move into inductance. You have an inductor, and it is supplied by an AC source. See, inductor and capacitor, they have a unique property. What does that means? They cannot suddenly react to change in voltage. They want things to happen very slowly and smoothly. They will wait for that. If suddenly something is changing, they cannot change themselves suddenly. They will take some time to adapt. So that is the nature of inductance and capacitance. Okay, just keep that in mind. But resistance, it can react immediately to the change in voltage, but kappa L and C, they will take some time because, as you know, they are reactive components. They will take some time to react. But resistance, it will immediately oppose the flow of current. Okay. So see, I am going to give any current to an inductor. You know that for inductor to work, it needs current because current is going to create a magnetic field around the inductor, thereby developing an EMF which is going to oppose the source. This is you know the Faraday's law. Any any current flowing through inductor will produce an EMF, and that EMF is going to oppose your source. So for inductor, the source of excitation should be current. So I is equal to Im sine omega t. I am representing it as Im angle 0. See, whenever you have only sine omega t term, you can say that as phase angle 0. This is one polar form of writing the sine omega t term. So you will write the maximum value, and whenever you see sine omega t without any phase angle, you can write it as angle 0, which means that my Im is traveling along the reference axis. Okay, that is the meaning of writing this notation. Okay, now you know voltage across inductor is given by V is equal to L into di by dt. Differentiate this current. What is differentiation of sine omega t with respect to t? What
Cos
is
omega t.
differentiation of sine omega cos
Cos
omega t?
into
Only
omega.
cos omega t into omega. Yes, see, Im is constant. Bring that out. So you get omega Im cos omega t. So this is the voltage across your inductor. Can I draw phasor between diagram between V and I? Can I draw the diagram between V and I? Yes,
Sir,
yes
first we
or
have to
no?
change the angles.
So we have
I
to
didn't
first
change the angle.
convert cos into sine, sir.
Yes, the rule I told you have to remember the rule. The first rule is amplitude should be same. Amplitude should be positive. See, the amplitudes are positive. And you see, the angle should be same. Sine, cos only allowed. But here you see you have sine and cos. So you have to convert this cos into sine. So when you convert the cos into sine, sine of 90 plus theta is cos theta. So I'm going to replace this cos omega t by sine 90 plus theta. Now you see, I'm going to write this one the same notation. This omega L I m I'm going to write as it is, and I'm going to write as angle 90. Is this correct? Sine omega t, if it is just there, I'll put it as angle 0. So if I have sine omega t plus 90, it is going to be angle 90. Is this notation clear to everyone? It is called as magnitude.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, omega t minus pi by 2, then you just put the angle minus 90.
Yes. My omega t minus pi by 2 means it will become minus 90. Yes. See,
Okay.
ultimately, what is the objective is your amplitude should remain positive. So for that, you can do any angle. See, if I write, I can also write 90 minus theta is also cos theta, right? But the format is omega t plus something. So if I write 90 minus theta, my omega t will become negative. So for that only, I'm writing omega t plus 90 because in sine, 90 minus theta, 90 plus theta, both are going to give me the same answer, cos theta. Okay, the frequency should not be changed because of the formula which you apply. You have to be very clear on that. Okay, so this is going to be omega L Im, and here you see plus 90. So here also plus 90. So you see current, it is angle of 0, voltage, angle of 90. What does that imply? What is leading, what is lagging?
Voltage leads.
Voltage
Voltage
leading
is
current.
leading, sir.
Yes. See here, when I mark, when I draw voltage along the reference axis, assume that my reference axis is voltage, my current will be always 90 degrees below my voltage. If I rotate this diagram in the anti-clockwise direction, I can draw this way also. If I am going to draw current along my reference axis, voltage is already 90 degrees ahead of my current. So it is already 90 degrees faster than current. So voltage is, so when you move this waveform in the anti-clockwise direction, naturally voltage will come first, then current will come. So voltage is leading the current by 90 degrees in an inductor. So in inductor, even though you supply current to excite your inductor coil, the produced voltage is going to lead the current. Okay, see, which you are applying first, current or voltage? I'm applying current first, correct? And voltage is what I get because of applying current. The voltage is produced after current is excited. But see here, the unique feature is voltage is actually faster compared to current. The voltage is actually fast compared to current. That is the nature of inductor. So it will be one parameter which excites is going to be slower, and the parameter which is going to produce is going to be faster. So it is excited by I. It is going to produce the voltage V, but V is faster than I in an inductor. Okay, because it takes some time to adapt to the current, but voltage is produced in a faster way. That is the meaning of, that is the way of how you interpret the behavior of inductors. Is this phasor diagram clear for an inductor? See, you can draw any phasor keeping V as reference or I as reference. Both are correct. Ultimately, both the diagrams are same. Just by rotating, I get this diagram. Okay, but it is always safe to have the 0 degrees as your reference. So IE will be your reference. So V will be leading by 90. So in inductor, voltage leads your current. Okay. See here, the maximum value of V is going to be this one. So omega L into Im. I'm going to write it as Vm. So Vm equal to omega L into Im. So divide by Im on both sides. So Vm by Im is going to be omega L. What is Vm by Im? As per Ohm's law, what should be the ratio of V by I?
R.
Resistance.
R. Yes, but I don't have a resistor here. So to differentiate that, I'm going to introduce. So for an inductor and capacitor, we don't have something called as resistance. We are going to call the same term by reactance. Okay, so the Vm by Em is going to be given by XL. So whenever you see the term X is going to be the reactance. So XL indicates the reactance of inductor. It is equal to what? Omega L. So this is how we obtain the reactance of inductor. So when you apply an AC current to an inductor, it develops an AC voltage, and that AC voltage is going to lead the current by 90 degrees. Take the maximum value of the AC voltage, try to find the ratio V by I, you get the reactance of inductor. So XL equal to omega L, you know omega equal to 2 pi F, so it is 2 pi F into L. So I can clearly see here XL is proportional to F. So XL directly proportional to F. So as you increase the frequency, the inductive reactance is going to increase. So it is directly proportional. Okay. What happens at DC? At DC, you know, for DC, the frequency is 0. Yes. For DC, the frequency is 0. When you put Fs equal to 0, XL equal to 0. So what is the meaning of XL equal to 0? The reactance offered by inductor is 0. What does it mean? What does that mean?
Does not allow DC.
Sir, current allow.
Yeah.
Current is maximum.
See, XL, even though you give the name as reactance, it is just like resistance only. To differentiate only, we are giving the name as reactance, right? So when resistance is 0, what is the condition called
Sir,
as?
it acts as short circuit.
Yes, it allows
Short
the
circuit.
it allows the entire current fully. So that's why you see they don't give DC current to inductor, because it is going to burn your inductor, because heavy current flows and it is going to damage your coil. So the inductors are not suitable to work with DC because it will damage the coil. So inductor will act like a short circuit in DC. Very important observation. And how do you say it is short circuit? Because XL equal to 0. XL is literally the you are going to say XL reactance is going to be proportional to resistance only. So when the resistance is going to be 0, you are going to call it as short circuit, right? Same way, when reactance is 0, you are going to again call it as a short circuit. So inductor is short when you are going to apply a DC. So if you have a voltage source like this, if you have a voltage source here, And if you're going to have an inductor here, then this inductor can be replaced by what? It is just replaced by a short circuit. There is no effect of having the inductor. So the circuit will produce all the fireworks inside it. When you're going to bias your inductor with DC, it is going to start burning because inductor coil has a very, very less amount of resistance, right? So when resistance is going to be less, heavy current is going to flow through your inductor. Okay, that is the observation. So inductor will not work for DC. So if you by mistake, if you give DC voltage to an inductor, you can wait and see the inductor burning. Yes. So at high frequency, you see, when F tends to infinity, XL will go to infinity. So when it offers a very heavy reactance, which means that the inductor behaves like a open circuit. High frequency means I am saying very high frequency. Normal frequencies, it will offer the reactance given by XL equal to 2 pi FL. Is these two cases clear? The extreme case of inductive behavior at the zero frequency at a very high frequencies. Okay, that's what you know. At zero frequency, it is short. Naturally, at very high frequency, it should be open. The duality principle will be followed here. Now see the variation. If I draw the current and voltage in the form of time domain diagram. So if current is going to start at zero, if current is going to start at zero means voltage would have already started at zero somewhere here. So it is voltage is leading the current. The current is starting at zero here only, but voltage has already started at zero somewhere before that. The voltage is going to lead the current. Or I can say simply, if current is going to be a sine waveform, voltage is going to be a cos waveform, mathematically. Is that clear in the behavior of inductor, how an inductor behaves? And where can you see these inductors in your practical examples, real-time examples? Where can you see inductors? All in all near your street, in your house, you will have big transformers, right? So transformers have two coils, primary and secondary. All the primary and secondary is made up of all these inductors only. So all transformers inside, if you open and see, you could see two coils, primary and secondary. Each coil is an inductor. Okay. And in all your tube lights, you have a component called choke, right? That choke is an inductor. Because of the choke only, immediately 5 to 10 years back, when you switch on your tube light, it will take some few seconds to be on, right? That time, that is because you have an inductor inside. Because I told you inductor cannot react to voltages very fast. It will take some time to react to the voltage. So suddenly you are giving 230 volt to inductor means it doesn't know how to react. So it will take some time to react. That is the reason why when you switch on your tube light, it is not on, it is not switched on immediately. Nowadays you have chokeless tube light where you switch on, it is going to be turning on immediately. I'm saying from 4 to 5 years back. The same thing happens with your fan also. When you switch on, put on the fan, it does not rotate in its full speed immediately. It takes some time to come to its full speed because it has L and C inside it. When L and C is there, it will try to slow down your circuit. Okay. And see here, this very, very important point you have to understand. The power consumed by the circuit is zero. The inductor and capacitor will not consume power. They will store and transfer power. So when you are going to give an AC sine signal, during the positive half cycle, power is transferred from source to load. In the negative half cycle, power is transferred from load to source. So energy transferred equal to energy received. So effectively, the power is going to be zero. Law of conservation of energy is obeyed. That's why you see in inductor, the power factor is going to be VI. The power factor is the theta is 90. So the power factor is going to be VI. It is going to be cos theta. So it is going to be cos 90 or zero. The power factor is going to be zero for a inductor. Power factor is zero means it does not dissipate power. It is going to store and transfer power from source to load or load to source. This happens periodically. During positive half cycle, the source will supply power. During negative half cycle, the inductor will supply power to the source so that the power is balanced completely. Is it clear the behavior of inductor? And I have put power factor lagging. What is the reason for putting power factor lagging here? See the bracket, power factor, I put zero lagging. What is the meaning of putting lagging here? Why didn't I put leading? Why did I not put leading power factor? Why did I put lagging power factor?
Sir, because first
While
voltage is leading, sir, is it because of that?
yes, for power factor, our reference is voltage or current.
Voltage.
Current. See, for inductor, voltage is leading the current, but for power factor, our reference is current. Here, current is lagging, so I write lagging power factor. Okay, just because voltage is leading current in inductor, don't write power factor is leading. It will be logically wrong. It will be absolutely wrong. So when the voltage is leading, power factor is lagging. Because power factor, my reference is going to be current and not voltage. Be clear on that. Don't confuse yourself.